What can you do if an influencer doesn't fulfill their end of the deal with your brand? We had a similar situation recently where one influencer that we secured for one of our clients almost didn't fulfill her end of the deal, and she got paid almost $5,000 in product and money. It can happen often, and the story is this. This influencer seemed to be the right fit. We vetted her. She seemed like her audience was great for us. Actually, it was great for us. She seemed really professional and experienced. She has a very good reputation in her community. So we arranged for a post deal, and we sent her about $4,000 worth of products to receive for that post, and $500 in monetary payment. So these products were very high end. That's why the deal was so high in value. It wasn't a truckload of product, and I don't recommend starting with a truckload of product with a first-time influencer deal. So she receives the product, she tries the product, and making it unsellable now, and she decides that she doesn't like it. So what she wants to do is to return a product, and instead of receiving $4,000 plus worth of product, she wants to get $4,000 in cash. Now, here's where I get pissed off. First of all, because her not liking the product had nothing to do with that product's quality. It was just her preference. This is the equivalent of you as a brand hiring an email marketer, and that email marketer never ever promoting your pink lipstick in email marketing because she's a red lipstick person herself. Literally the same equivalent. And number two, you didn't stipulate in your agreement and contract with us that you will only do a post if you absolutely love the product. So at the end of the day, this is a business transaction. So the product was completely in line with her audience. That's why we wanted this influencer in the first place. It was a super high-end product for a target audience that spends a lot of money in that particular industry. So what can you do if something like this happens? Like I said, it can happen often. Well, you could take them to small claims court. I mean, frankly, I probably would have threatened that if things got a little dramatic, but you can do quite a little bit before it can get to that point. So the very first thing you want to do when you're starting an influencer partnership, especially with an influencer that costs a lot, is you want to have an extremely sound contract with very good terms in that agreement. So you want to lay out agreement terms. These are not expectations, but actual agreement on services rendered for the payment offered. So what is important here as well is to include a penalty for non-delivery. So some of the things that I include in this agreement is, as a penalty, withholding commission if they are a brand ambassador or an affiliate. I also add a clause in there that I may file formal complaint on the social governing body. So a lot of influencers are in platforms where the platform takes responsibility to some extent for the performance of the influencer, or at the very least, they can penalize them and not allow them to use that platform anymore. And in exchange, they will end up losing a lot of potential contracts. You can also file a complaint on social channels like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, actually. If it is a big payment that we're talking about, that's when you want to threaten them with small claims court or add that section into your agreement. But I do recommend speaking to an attorney before you do that, because there are loopholes, and digital law is not my expertise. Digital marketing is. But you want to talk to an attorney before you add that clause in it, just to make sure that you have jurisdiction to do it. You can also put a clause in there that you will file chargeback with a platform like PayPal or Stripe. A lot of influencers, especially the ones that charge quite a little bit of money for their services, will take payment through something like PayPal, and a lot of them even have their own Stripe account or equivalent. You can also charge a credit card. So when you send product to an influencer, you can create a custom order in Shopify or whatever platform you're using, and make a symbolic charge of, let's say, $1, and put in a contract that if they don't fulfill their agreement terms within X period time, then you will be charging the full price of all the products they have received on their credit card. And of course, before you write out that agreement and get them to sign, you want to talk to them about this piece of clause and let them know that the non-delivery clause is very important to you. I would even have the conversation with them in advance about what would happen if they don't like the product. Ask them, are you still comfortable endorsing the product for the people that like XYZ that you maybe didn't like in this product, or would it be a no deal at all? If they say no deal at all, then personally, I would stay away from that influencer. To tie in to all those clauses, I would also recommend that you do not ever send payment in cash, like if it's a local influencer and you have a storefront, for instance, or through bank transfer. Always use a platform like PayPal that can cover you in case that you're not receiving the services that you have paid for. And lastly, I would suggest that you try to find common ground. So an example would be a situation like mine where we really liked the influencer's audience. It really matched ours because it was quite a niche audience. We try to find something that can work for both of us, where we actually set up a giveaway so she can give away the product. She did disclose that it was open box product. She didn't use all of the product that we sent her. And she disclosed that it wasn't necessarily her preference. However, the company is, it's good. These are all the good things that are happening about a product or happening about a company. And it really matches this kind of person with this kind of preferences. The influencer will gain quite a little bit of traction on their accounts too, a lot of followers usually, and everybody walks happy. If the product can be resold, then you can ask the influencer to send it back to you on them. I wouldn't pay to get the product back, to be honest, because again, it is a business transaction. And if they're willing to do it, have a post without the product and just about the company if they're still interested in doing some sort of a deal with you. So this is why influencer marketing can do so much for your business, but at the same time, if done incorrectly, it can totally flop. Influencer marketing is not a throwing spaghetti at the wall situation where you hope that something sticks, where you send a bunch of stuff to a bunch of people and you end up disappointed because they don't provide a service that you were hoping they will provide. It is completely a business transaction. And that's why I've talked about the Maple's influencer services before. By the way, I personally work with Mayple to put together these packages for influencers because you as a business need to have as little risk as possible for as much reward as possible. So with Mayple, you get all of this done for you. The research, the vetting, the negotiating, the chasing the influencer, the grabbing all the content and creatives that they've created, the agreement and the results. And if the influencer doesn't want to fulfill the end of the deal, then you have someone that will fight on your behalf. So if you want risk-free influencer marketing with extremely qualified people, and I'm talking about top 5% vetted experts by Mayple, quality people, then check out the link in the comment and see how you can get started, or ask me how you can get started and how this can work for your business. And before I close off, I wanted to add one extra note. I am not talking here about asking people to falsely endorse your products and falsely say positive things about your products. What I'm talking about is making sure that you have a good match for an influencer with an audience that matches yours, and making sure that everybody fulfills their end of the deal in what is a business transaction. You cannot make someone say positive things about the quality of your products, but you can make sure that you do your due diligence and your research to find the right influencers that will appreciate your products. And with the contracts and the clauses and everything that I talked about, you can make sure that they also fulfill their end of the deal.